Hello, welcome once again to another episode here on your darlings YouTube channel. If you are new to my channel, hi, how are you? My name is Becca. On this channel, basically, I talk about nursing. I'm a lifestyle vlogger, influencer, everything, good stuff in between. I'm a UK-based RN, originally from Ghana in West Africa. I do a little bit of everything, every good stuff, every good vibe in between. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about digital nursing. So now nursing is gradually moving from bedside into digitization. And I had a conversation with one of my friends who I also look up to like a mentor, who has been in the UK for over 25 years. We're kind of like discussing nursing in entirety and looking at how diverse nursing is gradually becoming. And I was telling her about some courses and some areas that has been introduced to nursing post-pandemic, and she didn't know about them. So I just felt like, let me share with you guys, for those of you who might be interested or who meet the eligibility criteria for such jobs. And if it is something that you'll be interested in, yes, you can give it your luck. You can, go for it. So this is for nurses who are very interested in being digital or who are interested in going digital. There is a good and bad news at the end of this video, which I'll talk about. But in the meantime, I'm going to be talking you through the requirements, the benefits of doing such jobs, and actually what these jobs are, okay? So there are 7 jobs, nursing jobs, that are highly digital, that does not involve or include any patient contact. And these jobs are work from home jobs, and that is the good news about the job. So it is not just being digital or anything at all, but it is a work from home job, which means that you can sit in the comfort of your home and do these jobs. And yes, they are very good paying. So if you are the type of nurse that want to be like the tech type of nurse, you want to be tech, you want to go digital, then yay, these jobs are for you, okay? So pre-pandemic, there were these jobs already, but some of them were not digitized. But when the pandemic hit and people were trying to reduce contact with patients or going into patients' homes, these jobs were introduced in the first class countries like the UK, US, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and so on and so forth. But people in the UK do not actually know that these jobs are actually in the UK. So these jobs are work from home jobs. So when we say work from home jobs, it means that you are a nurse, but you do not go into contact with any patient. You sit behind your computer in the comfort of your home and you do these jobs. There are some that are fully remote. So we talk about being fully remote. It means that you stay at home entirely and do your job. They are mostly 9 to 5 working jobs. So it's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and it's Monday to Friday, which means that you don't do weekends, you don't do nights, you don't work on bank holidays, and you are sitting in the comfort of your home. Is there anything that can be good than this? I don't think so. There are others that can also be hybrid. Hybrid means that out of the 5 working days that you're supposed to be working, there can be a day or 2 that you go into the office for meetings or anything, but which still doesn't have patient contact. So you just go for your meetings or you go and give your report to your whoever you're reporting to, and then you come home and continue with your other days fully remote, okay? So we have the fully remote, and then we have the hybrid, which is a bit of the remote and then going into the office. So that is what we call the hybrid. So one may ask, what are the requirements for these jobs? These jobs are not just open to nurses, it is also open to people that are from the allied health profession. It is open to nurses with at least minimum of 1 year experience post-qualification, and you should have a valid NMC PIN if you are a nurse looking forward to apply for such jobs. So the salary and benefits for this job, some of the companies that are hiring for these jobs, they are mostly private. So they are not NHS jobs, or they are not jobs that are public jobs. They are mostly private owned companies, and they give welcome bonuses. Some pay you as high as £45,000 per annum. They enroll you into a pension scheme. They give you discounts. You have access to annual leave. You can even have access to private medical treatment based on the arrangement that the company provides. And as I said, you are only working 9 to 5. You don't do weekends, you don't work nights, you don't work on bank holidays. This is a very flexible job, and if you are somebody that has family or you have family commitment that you want to be home most of the time, then these jobs are definitely for you. So the first job I would like to mention is the digital advanced nurse practitioner. So now you know that we have the advanced nurse practitioner, but now we have the digital advanced nurse practitioner. And those people usually work with the NHS 111. So recently, one of my residents wasn't doing well, and then I called NHS 111 to seek advice. And the nurse I spoke to was a nurse practitioner. I was quite intrigued, so I asked her some questions, and then she told me that now there is a digital form. So you are an advanced nurse practitioner that you give advice and telephone consultations, but you don't go into the ward. So you are doing just the telephone part of the advanced nurse practitioner, and they give advice to people over the phone via NHS 111, which is fully remote. The next is digital clinical research nurse. So a digital clinical research nurse, you know that in research nursing, you are basically taking and analyzing data, and you are collecting information or data from people. You can now do it digital. Recently, somebody reached out to me that she is a nurse and she's doing research. She's conducting research on Black nurses living in London, and she wanted to compare something. I forgot the details of the email, but that is her job. So she's just staying home, sending out her questionnaires, taking samples, and taking feedback from people on the internet, fully digital. She doesn't need to go into any office space or to have any patient contact. She is doing her research work, and she's doing it from the comfort of her home. The next one that I'm going to be talking about is nurse writer. So we have nurses that write books that are used for education purposes, and they write books, and you don't need to have any patient contact, or you don't need to go into any office space. You can be a nurse writer. So you develop a topic that you feel like is going to be of interest to the nursing fraternity, and you write and develop it in a book or in a writing, not necessarily a book. It can just be a research paper, or it can just be an article or anything that you can publish in nursing journals and in nursing magazines to benefit especially nursing students. So these people are also working, and they mostly work from home. The next one is nurse educator or nurse instructors. So before COVID, when we are doing trainings, we were supposed to be going in face to face to have these trainings. But when COVID hit, now most of the trainings have been moved to Zoom. Some have been moved to Teams, Microsoft Teams. So they are doing the education on the internet. And if you are a nurse educator or if you are a nurse teacher, you can teach your students on Zoom. You don't need to go into an office space. You can just do your meetings or your educations on Zoom. Recently, almost all of my trainings that I have done were done via Zoom. The educator was in the comfort of her home sipping a cup of coffee. We were also in our home sipping a cup of coffee, and we did our trainings. Oh yes, so if you are interested in such a job, you can go into nurse education. The next thing that is not very common working from home or work from home nursing job is fertility nurse. We have nurses now that offer psychological support to families that are going through in vitro fertilizations. So families that are looking for to conceive using the artificial method, they go through IVFs. And whilst they are going through IVFs, you know that IVFs can be very stressful. I have a friend who have gone through a couple of IVFs that have not been successful. And I feel like sometimes if she had somebody to give her that psychological support or that emotional support, apart from her significant other, it would have done her a lot of good. So now these fertility nurses, they have a category or a group of them that are digital fertility nurses that offer psychological support. So your duty is just to check up on your clients who are having fertility, or to check up on their family who are going through fertility process. So you call them on a daily basis, you offer them reassurance, you talk them through their process. If there is anything that they don't understand or they need reassurance, you talk them through the process. Basically, you are just there to make sure that their fertility process is problem-free, or they don't have any mental health issues whilst they are going through their fertility treatment. So you guide them from the period of starting the treatment to the end where everything has been successful, and that is going to be your duty as a digital fertility nurse. The next one is home-based nurse assessor. So we have nurses that are usually supposed to be doing assessment. So let's say, for instance, if a patient is going for endoscopy and the patient needs to be assessed, at first they need to walk into the unit to do their pre-assessment or the assessment for the procedure. But because of COVID and for the fact that they are reducing patient contact, now they have allowed or have agreed for some nurses to be digital. So they do the telephone appointment from the comfort of their homes confidentially. So they call the patient, they talk the patient through the procedure, they take their details, they walk them through the admission process, explain everything for the patient on the telephone before the day of assessment. Sometimes also maybe the patient is going for like a breast procedure or like those little day surgery. There are certain things you don't need to let the patient walk into the unit on the day of procedure before you talk them through the process. You can do them on the telephone. So things like explaining the procedure to them, explaining sedation to them, telling them what they should expect on the day of the procedure are usually done on the telephone, and they are done by the home-based nurse assessors. The last but certainly not the least that I'm going to be talking about is PIP disability nurse. So PIP stands for personal independent payment. Okay, so we have the PIP disability nurse, or the functional assessor nurse, or the functional disability nurse. So what this PIP does is that you know that in the UK there are patients who are disabled, and these patients are qualified for funding. I don't want to call them patients, I want to call them clients. So we have clients who have disability, and these clients qualify for funding. So the funding is usually given either by private funding or by public funding given by the government. But before they are given these funds by the government, they need to prove that yes, they have the disability and it has been agreed upon by a health professional. Okay, so this health professional needs to assess the person, needs to give a report that yes, I have assessed this person and I feel they meet the eligibility criteria that defines that level of disability or malfunction, and based on ABC they qualify for the government funding. So most of these people can be in the care home, so we have the CHC and likes and so on and so forth. Some can be in the care home, some can be in the comfort of their home, but they need to be funded. So a nurse needs to go in, or a person with a health background, not necessarily a nurse, needs to go in and assess them. And the category of people that do this are the PIP nurse assessors or the functional assessors. So they call these people on the telephone and talk them through the assessment process, tell them what they should expect. Then maybe they fix just a day, go into their homes or into the care homes, look at their housing situations, assess everything in entirety, and then give a written report to the decision-making bodies, telling them that based on ABC, person so and so qualifies to take public funds or qualifies to take a disability allowance, and this is what nurses do. The bad news I have for you guys regarding this type of job is that most of the times they don't give tier 2 sponsorship. And so if you require tier 2 sponsorship and you are looking for such jobs, I am not saying it is entirely impossible. You can do your own background and research, but it is going to be very difficult to get tier 2 sponsorship for such jobs that are work from home or fully remote or even hybrid jobs, because they usually require people that have right to work in the UK already. So if you require tier 2 sponsorship, I am not saying it is entirely impossible, but it's going to be taking you a little bit of time and effort to get such type of jobs. And one may ask, where can I find such jobs to apply for? They are all over the internet. A simple Google search of work from home nursing jobs or disability nursing jobs, fertility jobs, any of these topics that I've mentioned, or any of this type of jobs that I've mentioned, you can just simply do a Google search and Google is going to bring up all of these jobs. On the other hand, you can also search on job websites like Total Jobs, Indeed, Reed, CV Library, and so on and so forth. And these jobs are going to pop up. If you are a mother, or if you fancy work from home job, you don't want to have physical patient contact, or you just want to sit in the comfort of your home and go 100% digital and still be paid good amount of money, avoiding weekend work, avoiding night shift, avoiding having to travel up and about to render care to your patients, and you want to go fully digital, yes, you can go fully digital. Another thing about these jobs is that you should have a good knowledge in IT. Yes, so obviously you are going to be working with your computers. You should know about IT. So you should know what to do, how to like manipulate your computer, or how to operate. Yeah, that's the right word to use. How to operate your computer or your desktop. And you should also have a workspace in your home. So you should have a home. You should have a house that has a workspace you can create to put a desk, to put your your desktop station in that space where you have uninterrupted, you have no interruptions at all. You should have a good broadband that can give you good signals, and you can do your job comfortably from your home. Yeah, so guys, I just felt like sharing this with you. If it is something that you want to consider, even if not now, probably in the future, you want to go digital because you don't want to walk up and about to give care, save yourself the stress of going up and about, or you want to be the tech kind of nurse, or you want to be the tech kind of healthcare professional, yeah, then you can go into these kind of jobs. I hope you guys like this video. If you like this video, simply smash the like button for this video and also share with your friends because it may be of benefit to somebody. I wish you all guys the very best in your job applications. If you want to apply for any of these jobs, I wish you all the very best. And until we meet again in my next video, guys, it's bye.